All right, 5 o'clock, we'll start off with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, administrative items, no, public comment. See? I'll try to do my best there, Seth, for you. So, we got any public comment, from anybody in the room, please?
Yes, sir.
Limit to 3 minutes and state your name and
Yes, sir.
your address.
Yeah, hi, Skip Mead, farmer out in the Dayton area, third generation. I'm here about the potential sale of the railroad and back to beating this horse. I listened to, started at 4:30 this morning, listening to the meeting minutes, or the meeting from last month, and I just am dismayed that we're still here talking about it. That is not off the table. You've heard from everyone, Johnny, Seth, we potentially had it set up to have a pros and cons meeting, you know, of doing it, don't meeting. That went by because I sensed a change of heart. To where you folks were listening to the stakeholders, and a lot of the people were saying that let's table this thing, doesn't mean forever, but let's just take this off, and frankly, we have spent way too much energy on this. I'm here for the third time trying to saying the same thing over, and Johnny, last meeting, you said you aren't hearing from us necessarily. I mean, you've heard from a few. How many times do I have to say it? Don't sell the railroad. How many times? I mean, do I have to come to every meeting and say the same thing over? I'm trying to give you strength, so if you have naysayers, know that you have the support of the stakeholders behind you. We just need to get rid of this business. You talk about assets and investments, you own it. You own the asset. It's not an investment. It's an investment in the community. It doesn't mean you have to make a rate of return on it. You own it. The way that the hardball is being played a little bit by our current lessee. Gosh, I think the similar thing happened with the last one, and you know, we found another lessee. And the idea behind not being able to find somebody, but anyway, I just get frustrated because I'm here again, trying to say the same thing, and I know you guys have heard it, and I don't know where the change came over the last 2 months, but doggone it, can't we just put this thing to rest? And I just wanted to reconfirm that the stakeholders and the voters, you know, I mean, you take them kind of separately, but stakeholders are voters. And you've heard I'd almost say overwhelmingly that the stakeholders also, i.e. primary tax base in the county, are in favor of keeping the railroad. And I just want to reiterate, I'm speaking for myself, but I've heard it over and over again, and I just think it is time to put this to rest. Do not, I'm sorry the guy's not, the current lessee, you know, I mean, you just can't sell a $10 million asset for $1 million. That's bad business. I mean, it's not even bad business. I don't even know what to call it.
I think we hear you.
Yeah,
I think we've already discussed that.
and we have, and I just am dismayed, frustrated that I have to be here because I hear that I have to be here every time to say the same thing, you guys, and it's just time to put it to rest, and I appreciate you hearing me out, and I'm gonna go back and figure out what I didn't do earlier today. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else in the room? Anybody on Zoom? All right, with that said, that is the end of our public comment. And we will move into our agenda items. Agenda items number 1, administrative. Has everybody had a chance to review last month's minutes?
Yes.
Yes, yes, I had.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve those?
So move.
I will second it.
Any further discussion on it?
None here.
I hear none. So I have a first and a second to approve the minutes as written. For all in favor, say aye. Aye. And not in favor. All right, motion passed. Or minutes passed. Let's see. Item B, review monthly budget report and approve vouchers and sign.
Okay, we did not have very many unusual vouchers this month. It was the typical spending. The only things that I called out on my sheet in front of me to tell you was, the Applied Brewing and Malting Solutions for $550. That's just a sub-consultant for the malt project. So we paid Robert Lidle the remainder of his contract. I think it was $5,000 total. And then card member services was a little high, that we purchased some Sesquicentennial merchandise. We'll show you a picture of that in a moment. And then the Q Wood-Fired Grill, that was the community meal that we held on Saturday during the Sesquicentennial. And we are getting money from the county to help cover the costs of that event. So there will be some revenue to offset those expenses. Everything else was very typical. So unless you have questions, that is all I had to report.
So we are all caught up on the commissioner back pay thing and.
You must have gotten a ginormous check, right?
I don't know what definition,
Mike
ginormous. is,
Mike
but-
came in and thought we'd made a mistake, and I'm like, no, that's your back pay. Yes, we should be caught up
So we're caught up, so we go forward,
at the new rate,
at
yeah.
any rate, okay. I don't have any other questions. That, Seth, do you have any questions on the vouchers?
No, no questions here.
All right,
Oh, so here is one for you to sign, just short. Sign at the top. Thank you.
You're welcome.
all right, so item 1C, 2026 budget. Review final draft budget.
Yes, so that's the sheet in your packet that looks like this with the colors on it. And this is the final draft, so final opportunity to make any changes. We will need to hold a public hearing at our November meeting to approve this. So if you want to start on the income side, I will just touch on a few changes since the one I presented last month. I did increase the cash on hand a little bit. We're at least one of the capital facilities projects that wanted to get done this year has not been done. So it does leave us a little bit more cash on hand. So I increased that a little bit. I did get a letter from the next line down under tax revenue. I got a letter from the county that had the approximate amount of the value for next year, which is great. So that should be about what we get. It always changes a little bit, but usually not much. Going down under the tenants, a few of them are a little bit higher than what I presented last month, and that's because I just went through the leases and verified that I had captured all the current lease rates, and then any many of our leases have automatic increases, and then any of the renewals we've done. So some of them went up, between 3% and 5%. The industrial building number 3 line, that is the GSA building. They have said that they would like to renew their lease, even though they did not give us the appropriate 60-day notice. But we want to keep that service in the community, so they asked me if we would honor that they have a third 5-year term from the original lease at this increased lease rate, and I said, yes, we will honor it. I don't know if I'll hear from them now because of the shutdown, but ball's in their court now to send me materials to look over and sign. But the lease terms were predetermined when we signed the first lease 10 years ago. So we'll see what happens. I did increase, let's see, Columbia County Transit, industrial building number 6. They hadn't had an increase for a few years, so we increased their rent 5%. CHS, or building number 6, had an automatic increase, so I accounted for that. Bell House, we've been trying to bring that one up to market rate for quite a while, so that one went up. And then Cameron Street Co-working, I did reduce the rent on that one because we do not have a renter for Suite E right now. So I thought it was prudent to just remove that rent for now, since I like to be conservative and we can add it back when they come. Everything else on this front page, I believe, is the same. 3.9 million left in the Curb Craft Malt project. We've spent 1.1 million. Majority of that was, much of it was that equipment that we ended up buying. But the rest of it has been on the development services. And then some of it is reimbursed, well, it's all reimbursed from Curb and the tenant, prospective tenant with the match. So that's what's left for next year. That's my estimate. Then I've got the $2.5 million broadband project in there and the RV pull through, 1.7 million. So lots in the miscellaneous grants and loans line item. Okay, so you have any questions on that income side?
I do not. Commissioner Bryan?
No questions here.
Okay, and so then on the expense side, I didn't change anything in the top section. I did increase advertising just a bit because of rising costs. It just seems to be everything we're doing costs a little bit more. Under dues and fees, I did want to follow up on my discussion with the Pacific Northwest Waterways Association. Remember last meeting, we talked about the giant dues increase. So I had a really good conversation with their executive director, and he did say that he recognized that was a really big increase for the small ports. Apparently what they had done in the past was they did not have a lease or a membership rate schedule. It had all been kind of based on, yes, and whatever somebody was charged at that time, and they said there were some ports paying way more than others that were the same size and others paying less, so they were trying to stabilize it, equalize it. They were trying to equalize it. And I pointed out that they had increased the smaller ports dues by, such a higher percentage than the larger. He said, well, I do recognize that. So he agreed that it was probably an issue for a port our size, and he was gonna take it back to their executive board and see if they could get a better rate. So
Good. Excellent.
we are paid for this year, so it's not a problem for this year. We don't have to really make another decision on this probably till a year from now. So anyway, it was a good conversation, so I felt
Good.
better about it. Okay, so I raised dues and fees just a touch, but not much. I did decrease insurance just a little bit because our premium was lower this year than expected. I think it's probably because our last claim had kind of fallen off the books. So I did decrease that just a touch, increased janitorial slightly just for inflation. Everything goes up, at least the CPI this year's 3%. Increased office equipment a little bit. Increased economic development at the bottom of the administrative area because we seem to be doing a lot of economic development activities, and we had the room in the budget, so I added 5,000 to that. I left professional services the same. I left maintenance, capital improvements and projects the same, other than the specific projects. Then you can see those are listed out. The RV pull-through, broadband, craft malt, and special projects. And our debt service remains the same, just slightly lower for the sewer. Other than that, it stays the same.
Cool.
So any questions?
The 267,800,82, ending cash on hand.
Yes,
That's the projection.
yes,
Okay.
and that's conservative.
Okay.
Last year I proposed or projected we'd end with 206 and we have almost 500,000, so.
Okay.
But our I think it was a couple of years ago, we discussed that $100,000 was not enough reserve, so we wanted it to be 200, but really my target now is 250. And I think we
Right.
need to continue to increase that as we can, just because the
I
cost of
agree.
everything's going
Yeah.
up, so.
Yeah, so the green, the 511, 599. That was last year?
That was actual year end at 2024.
End of 2024, and
Yep.
then,
2025, I'm projecting 500 again. Yeah.
Okay,
I am,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Okay,
yeah. I tend to be a conservative budgeter, as I've mentioned before, so we usually tend to end up. I tend to underestimate income and overestimate expenses so that we don't get ourselves in trouble.
all right. Commissioner Ryan, you got any questions, concerns?
No, I think it looks good.
Okay,
So do I. Thank you for
great.
that.
You're welcome. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So
And then-
next order is to set. a
The
public-
capital facilities plan. Yeah, that's, it's on the same line.
Oh, yeah,
item.
capital facilities plan.
Yeah, so this one, I don't think yours has any color in it. It's very similar to last year. I just moved some things forward. But I did want to draw your attention to second line down, BMS building number 2, Suite B HVAC. So that is the project that I applied to the USDA for funds to match our 50,000, so we could replace the add HVAC to that building and put in food grade wall covering. And that's the
Right.
grant that I just can't hear back from the feds. I'm just not hearing anything. So it hasn't gotten done because if I spend our 50, then I can't use it as match for the USDA money. So instead now Curb has a new program, a new small ports program where they're trying to do a small grants program. They asked me for some input. So I gave this project as an example for them, that if you could provide us $50,000 for a 50, to match our 50, we could get a great project done with, little, that to Curb, that's pretty small dollars. So I am hopeful that I can just abandon the USDA request if needed and just go with Curb. So
Okay.
that's why I've moved this to 2026. Could be that something will happen sooner, but I just moved it to 2026, so we'll do it that year, one way or another. We'll get the HVAC in. Cedar Rain is still in part of the building. They've just vacated the larger portion, which is where I want to work on the HVAC and get it ready for the pasta company. And then I think the only other thing I changed on here, other than the years we would do things, was railroad rehab. We had 30 million under railroad rehab, but going back through the sheet that the engineer did for us, that number was for the whole stretch from Walla Walla to Wallula. We're only responsible for half of that. So I cut it in half because that was not, it misleads people into thinking we need $30 million work on our line, and it's not. And besides that,
Right.
this 15 million would be for the Cadillac version of a railroad, so. And then the only other thing at the bottom where it says broadband design and construction, that should not be 5 million, it should be 2.5, so I need to change that. I didn't notice that until I was looking at it just before the meeting. And then under Lions Ferry Marina, I left most of those the same. We didn't get a lot done this year because of the concessionaire difficulties. But I added the pull through RV sites, the dollar amount, exactly what it's going to cost. And I do have good news on that as well. I guess I can report that later, but anyway, that's my plan for next year, our plan for next year. And so we should approve this when we adopt the budget next month also.
Right.
That's how we stay in compliance with our comp plan, is by making sure you all are approving these expenditures.
Any questions, Commissioner Spring? No. Commissioner Bryan, got any questions, concerns?
No questions here.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So as far as the setting the date, we usually just do it at our November meeting, which would be the 12th. Is there any problem with that?
No, that's
Sounds great. Let's do it.
Right, we will advertise accordingly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes care of the public hearing notice date, and then so we're on to 1D, the leases.
We don't have any leases today. We're all caught up.
Okay. Section 2, update on port assets, and we'll go ahead and start with Rock Hill Industrial Park.
We have no changes in the industrial park and we haven't had any maintenance issues either, so it's just business as usual,
All right,
which is good.
let's go to Lions Ferry Marina.
So on the pull-through sites, I've been working with the concessionaire on the match. And they came up with a number that they thought would make sense for them to be able to put in, even if it's just cash, which is about 200,000. And then we had budgeted about a little over 100,000, the port did. And so that again came up with Curb, where they have this new rural ports program, where they are putting together, this is for sure a program, they're setting aside money that can be used by ports for infrastructure projects or matching funds. So I attended a meeting with them and said, could it be used for matching funds for RCO? And she said, absolutely. So I think the maximum on that may have been 200. But then it gets us what we need. We need like 4. No, 5, like 527, so it gets us to 5. So it's just nearly perfect. There's something about this project that it just keeps like things keep falling into place when I don't think they're going to. So, yeah, it's great news. So I am waiting now on a contract with Anderson Perry for design and cultural resources work. That is going to be a big deal out there. The Corps and RCO are very sensitive to making sure we do all the cultural resources work we need to on that site. So the RCO requires us to submit a cultural resource plan to them before we start spending money on I think we can spend a little bit on design, but we really can't spend much money until the cultural resources is settled. So I guess they said we could spend money on the core, the permitting, because that also has a timeline. So that's what's next on that one. So it's very exciting. We're getting it pulled together.
All right. Concierge update.
So I think I told you before that the potential sale fell through, so Joanne has a plan for continuing to operate and while they continue to look for a buyer for their business. So she's there now and she is gonna take a couple months this winter and try to have some time off, but she's arranged for people to watch the place and take care of it. And she's discussed that plan with me and so it all is approved, and so luckily she is on board to just keep on.
So I would imagine we'll have the contact information for anybody that's watching it while she's
Yeah.
going.
Absolutely, yes, good point, yes. I will
All right.
make sure we have that.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to Blue Mountain Station.
Okay, so Mainstem Malt update, I did wanna show some. Drawings. If I can share my screen correctly. So, oh, I got started on the wrong page, that's the last page. So these are some, I think I told you we were about 100% design drawings at the last meeting, we were very close. And Phil wanted to have some visual renderings that he could use in his fundraising for his portion of the project, so this is what we got. So this shows where the malt building would be located on the Blue Mountain Station site. And the existing buildings, and then here's our industrial park, and there's downtown Dayton. So that kind of gives a location. And then that's potentially what the building could look like. And then there's another shot from the back with all the bins. And then this one is a malting process diagram. And a floor plan. Very, there, we have much more detailed drawings, but this is for sharing with the public.
Very cool.
So, the, where we are right now is that, Phil is here tonight. I didn't know he was coming, but he's here. We have been negotiating a lease for a few months and are kind of, we're still trying to work that out. Making progress, but still trying to work that out. And so, I have, issued a stop work order to the architect and engineer until we can get that sorted out. I just don't think we should spend any more money on the project until we've got the lease sorted out. Because I don't know what happens if we can't sort out the lease. I don't know what happens with curb and money. So, but it's good timing because we did get the design to the 100% design point, and we got Phil the renderings he needed for his fundraising. And there was one other thing, I don't remember what it was now. Anyway, so it seems like it's a good spot. It's not like it's a big slowdown of things to do this right now. So just wanted to let you guys know that is where we are. And Kim and I met today on the lease and are continuing to work on it. So.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
In the future.
All right, let's go to the CWW Railroad.
Okay, I had a good meeting with, Stuart and Derek, operations managers, a couple weeks ago. Paul has made some, suggestions, possible lease, arrangements. They're fairly complex compared to what we have now. Some of the highlights include splitting the lines so that CWW would be maintaining from basically Bowles or Prescott to Walla Walla, business as usual. And they would expect the port to manage the Dayton section. There are some ideas for rent, which would be that this is where it's very complicated. Maybe per car fees paid to us, but we would be responsible for maintenance. We would be responsible again for the right-of-way management. There's a lot of talk about being able to earn, if the port is managing a section, we can earn money through the $3,500 a mile federal tax credit. Apparently you can sell them at 85% value or 60 to 85% value. I did check with a railroad expert friend of mine, and he said that is a thing. You can do that.
What do you mean sell them?
Sell the tax credits. Because we don't need a tax credit. It doesn't do us any good. We don't pay taxes. But apparently some people will buy them, not at 100% value. There's even a suggestion of sharing revenue for car storage. But again, more of the responsibility would be on the port. So I guess most important things to note are that both parties, both CWW and Port, want this line to keep operating. We are gonna honor the current lease until we get this sorted out, so there's really no issue with shipping. Shipping will continue. They also believe they're very close to a new agreement with the UP regarding Wallula. But and I talked to Kim about this today, I would really like to engage a consultant of some sort to help me understand the financial ramifications of a suggestion like this to the port, because it is so different. You know, we really don't have the knowledge of rail operations to know whether or not we would be choosing a path that's good for the port. So I don't think that'll be hard. We've got money in the consultant line item to do it, but I thought I'd run that by you guys and see what you think. I'll still continue the dialogue with CWW through it all, but just see what you guys think about getting a little bit of assistance to kind of study those finances a little bit. I keep looking at them. I'm sorry, Seth. I'm looking at you.
I think that I think that's a good idea. That it needs to be handled professionally and appropriately. And, if we don't have the experience and the expertise to do it, then we need to find somebody to give us some guidance so that we don't make big mistakes and errors that can, cost the community and the taxpayers time and money and our efforts. So I think that talking to a consultant, as long as the prices of it are not exorbitant, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I have a question even before that was the current lease, you said you're gonna, go with the current lease that we.
Yeah, it'll just go to month. If it expires on 12/31,
Okay,
if nobody terminates it by law, it just goes to a month lease.
okay, so we're still under.
Still under
contract, the
lease, yeah.
Same lease that we had
Yep.
before.
Yep.
What was the discussion about just continuing that lease?
I don't think Paul has said he does not want to continue under the existing lease
Okay.
structure.
That was okay.
Yeah,
That answers my
yeah,
question.
he was not at this meeting, but he had said that before, so, and they gave me this, his written suggestion at the meeting, so I didn't have a
Oh.
chance to look at it before we met, so. And then there's been a follow-up email to that, just, yesterday. So, that's why I've not had an opportunity to truly dive into the financial ramifications. I mean, I think there's potential, when I first hear that we would be in charge of inspections, I think, oh my gosh, but then, I've got to thinking about it and. Maybe if we had a third party inspecting the line and very clear understanding of who was responsible for what, maybe that'd be a good thing,
Yeah,
both sides.
I can see value in both,
Mhm.
in an option like that. For the port and for the community as well, but.
Yeah.
Also see the challenges, with that, with just lack of knowledge, right?
Right, that's,
It's not in our
no,
wheelhouse,
it's not.
okay,
I would say, yes, go forward if you need expertise,
Okay,
as long as it's within our budget.
yeah,
I'll make
And
sure it is.
If it's not, if it is outside, then.
I can come back to you,
us.
yeah.
yeah. Most critical thing is that, we're above board, and we're doing it legitimately, legally, ethically, all of those. Things that we have to do as part of the book of business, and then we'll move on from there.
Yeah, I did share the,
Yes.
some of the visioning items from the previous meeting with them. And especially we talked about the idea of tourism or, some sort of additional use of that rail line and adding value to the community. And, that Stuart, they were not opposed to that. Stuart said he'd been trying to talk to Paul about it for several years. It's really not something they've been doing right now, other than like bringing the Lincoln car for the events, but, they're, open-minded about it. I also, and I asked them what if there was someone else who wanted to help with a tourism train, and they were open to that idea. So I'll tell you more about that in a minute. One thing we did address was that I had mentioned to you guys that I really thought CWW was responsible. They had told me they would be applying for federal grants. So the fact that that had not happened was a surprise to me. So I did address that with them, and basically it comes down to the person that told me that worked for them, doesn't work for them anymore, and probably shouldn't have told me that. So I now have the correct name of the person who will be working on federal grants, and he is who I'm working with on the Highway 124 crossing. So he is employed by them and is applying for grants. So I think that was a unfortunate miscommunication.
Handy bit of information.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And then, so I did call one of the gentlemen that had contacted us during the sale discussion, interested in the line. But he was interested in tourism, so I called him and said, well, okay, we're not gonna sell the line, what is your interest in still tourism train? And he was very interested in it, and he said it kind of in any regard, he just would, whether it's just pulling people together or helping figure out what could work, he's just very easygoing, just interested in some sort of a tourism train in general, so.
Cool.
Just said he'd help any way we could. And then the last thing is I did get a call from another short line, interested in putting in an RFP if we have that process, so. There's my rail sharing.
All right. Well, you have any questions, Commissioner Brian?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you for the good details though.
Yeah, thank you for having that, leading that for the board. And that conversation and discussion and then whatever goes forward, take a look at it because it is not in our wheelhouse, so it's gonna take some work. And you guys here do the heavy lifting on
Yeah.
getting that, so appreciate that.
I did leave the meeting feeling very much like we will be able to make it work though, and they felt the same way, so that was really positive.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's where we wanna be.
Yeah.
Cause ultimately that's the goal, right? Is to have a viable, working, operational that both parties and can grow from it and we'll go from there, so. All right, now for that, broadband.
I am still waiting on a curb contract for the Starbuck project. I sent the materials at least a month ago, so I need to check in with Janae and see what's happening. I am going to Starbuck City Council meeting tomorrow night to describe the project to them. I got to meet their mayor today, or he's gonna be mayor on January 1st.
Yep.
Great guy. So I got to meet with him today and, they just. Poor little Starbuck. I mean, they don't even know, people are asking about permits and they don't even know how to answer. So I said, well, you're lucky it's us because we will do this correctly. I'm going to share our franchise agreement that we entered into with the city of Dayton with them, and they do have I didn't bring her card in, but there is a woman who works for a nonprofit that tries to help very small towns free of charge, and she is, I think, going to help them figure out what kind of permits they should ask the port for. So that was really good. She was at the meeting too, because they have no capacity. They have a part-time clerk that works a few hours a day, once a week.
Mhm.
That's it. So unless their council people jump in, it's pretty tough for them. So I'll go and explain what we're doing tomorrow night and we'll go from there.
It's good. They're supposed to be doing a bunch of street work and stuff like that.
They're trying and they need to do both water and sewer
Yeah.
system work.
Yep,
They were telling me today, things tend to be done more as an emergency instead of a plan.
yep.
So that this woman who's helping them I think she's gonna be really helpful. I think she'll help
Okay.
them figure some of that stuff out.
All right. B,
Nothing new, just,
Nothing.
no,
yeah,
just the inland. I should probably just take that off, I guess, since inland got the contract,
yeah.
so I don't really have anything to report. I'll take it off.
All right, 3, community and economic development staff reports.
Okay, I'll start. Our project River Spark, that I've been discussing out at Lions Ferry still seems to be moving in a positive direction, and they are going to be working on permitting. So that's good news. I'm hoping they'll be ready to be more public about their project at our SEDS meeting in December. I've asked them if maybe they'd be ready by then, so hopefully they will. We did at our economic development meeting this month learn that, there is going to be more wind turbines added to this Lower Snake River Wind Project. And there will potentially be some repowering, they call it, where they put larger blades on the existing ones because they make more power. And so what that does for us is creates construction jobs in the community. So that helps the businesses. And then helps the tax base long term. And I don't know if it would create more permanent jobs or not, but there is more of that happening. Shane and I have been absolutely buried in events. It's like I can't even believe I could report what I did in the meeting because it feels like all we've done is events. I'll let him talk about most of the details, but I did want to talk about the sesquicentennial event we just had this Saturday. It was wonderful, very well attended, and we have had nothing but positive responses. People really liked the lunch. It was just a community lunch with no pressure, just visit. Great mix of people, you know, old people that have lived here their whole lives, people that have moved here in the last year. Visitors from out of town, they loved the historic reenactments. They loved the ice cream social, because free ice cream is good. And great response on the mural. So it was just all in all, a very heartwarming weekend, kind of a inspiring weekend. Felt inspirational to sit with our neighbors and enjoy a lunch and just be happy. That's great. So I thought I'd show a few pictures just for fun.
I think that's how it's supposed to be, right?
It's supposed to be. Let's see, I have to be smart enough to have the pictures up, I think. Oh gosh. I don't know if I'm. There we go, there they are. Okay, so if I open them and then I go back here. And I share. There. The Confederated Tribes were there in force, which was great. I give Shane all the credit for that. He has great relationships with them. And they presented the community with a flag at the luncheon, so that was really fun. We'll have to fight over who gets to put up the flag. Of course, Shane wants a new flagpole, but. We had a stagecoach that brought in the dignitaries. We had the mayor of Starbuck, Zonia spoke, and Marty from the county. And Roger is mayor of Dayton, and then 2 tribal members. JD and Martina, is that Martina? Yeah. There's lineup at the ice cream social. It's fun to see the courthouse lawn full of people. There's Mr. Hall in the Lincoln railroad car. And then we've got merchandise, and we still have merchandise. If anybody needs a Sesquicentennial cup or a shirt or a sweatshirt or free stickers and hats, yep. This is one of the reenactments at the, living history actors at the theater. That was Minnie Moe, Brenda Henderson playing Minnie Moe. There's the mural. I guess that's it. Okay. So, I don't think I really have anything else I need to report, so I will let Shane give his report.
Yeah, just, going off of the Sesquicentennial, it was a good day. I want to thank our committee. We had a fairly large committee of about 15 different people who really invested their time and energy in the whole thing. Loyal and Charlotte built a special insert publication that is 50 some pages. So if you haven't got the Chronicle, I would encourage you to get the Chronicle and get that publication.
Very well done.
Very well done. And so, just all in all, it was a good day. Just everybody working together brought it just to fruition. And, yes, we were exhausted at the end of the day and the day after that, even the day after that. But it was worth it. Every minute of it was worth it. And we're grateful to the county commissioners for entrusting the port with leading the charge. So, and as I said on Saturday, I also like to thank the press. The 3 papers, the Union Bulletin, the Times, and the Chronicle for keeping it at the forefront in front of the public eye. So it was a very good day. But before that, the weekend before that, we held the Fall Family Festival at Blue Mountain Station, because why not have 2 festivals in 2 weekends in a row? Well attended, the weather cooperated, everybody had fun. The kids loved the ginormous obstacle course. There were some pretty sweaty kids that came off of that thing. They were bouncing around there and having all kinds of fun. So it was a good day, and I believe the market had a good day.
Oh, yeah.
So, pretty exciting.
A whole different set of people. We entertained 2 completely different sets of people, 2 weekends a day.
Yep. And of course, the cakewalk,
Oh,
ever popular cakewalk. There was no prizes left, so it was good. Some upcoming stuff. The Rainier Beer Film Festival is being held this week at the Liberty Theater. So if you remember, anybody remembers the Rainier Beer commercials, There's a producer that has taken them and put them together and talked about how they were made, where they were made. And one of them was made in Whitesburg. And so that'll be part of that. Apparently there was a beer wagon that lived in Waitsburg that Dom Thomas owned. And so, and now it lives in Pomeroy.
And they're trying to get it.
They're trying to get it here for the event. So, and if you go into the Whiskey Sea, the sign on the wall actually was on the wagon. So a little bit of history there, I guess, being a bit of a history buff, that's kind of fun. The Community Council, Wall Community College and Goodwill of the Columbia Basin are putting on a digital resource fair for everyone. October 16th at Community College from 4 to 7. So it'll be a hands-on kind of a family event, showing people how to use technology and all kinds of different stuff. On the 18th, the port is lending some basic backbone support to a new event called the Touchy Valley Community Showcase. Shakira Bai is leading the charge to have several businesses showcased. She's probably got close to 30 businesses that will be showcased at the fairgrounds from 12 to 5. So it'll be like health and wellness on steroids, with how to change tire, how to change oil, how to winterize a window, all kinds of stuff. Mandy Went is going to come and talk about homesteading 101. The Coalition for Youth and Families will have their drug take back day there. And we have helped organize getting a shred truck there so people can, so it's going to be a fun community day. Tomorrow we are hosting an Apex Accelerator workshop here at the port. It is from 2 to 4. She'll teach you, so I guess I have how to government contracting resources for business. Don't know how far it would go right about now with everything being shut down, but at least she'll tell us what to do when they open back up. My project Clean Slate is still in the real estate arm of things. They're waiting on a transfer. I met on Monday with a new client that I'm connecting to Paul Bowen. He actually has 2 projects. So we'll get 2 more projects towards some industry here in Dayton. Jenny mentioned the SEDS 12 on December 2nd. In your packets, and Seth will make sure we get yours, but we did want to point out Blue Mountain Heritage, they're a valuable partner. So we put their newsletter in your packet. And 2 more things. Next week is Spirit Week. Out of the town hall that was held by the chamber, one of the things was basically Spirit Week and how we can paint the town red and gold. So Melissa McCowan leading the charge. So I'd encourage everybody to get out your red and gold and wear it all week. And
is that next week?
it's next week. Follow along. So it's going to be a good week. And if you look at Elk Drug, you can get your inspiration. They've already had their windows painted. So pretty exciting. And then yesterday during our EDSC meeting, if you have seen these little brochures around town, can you see that? It says, meet me at the pool. Katie Lee gave a wonderful uplifting presentation yesterday on the pool. And they only need $3 million to build a pool. Only $3 million. And she was so very upbeat about it. If you could have wrote her the check yesterday, you probably would have. But she did state that they are able to use the existing site. So no new site is needed. And they will be able to retrofit the existing bathhouse and the mechanical room. So it needs to be brought up to ADA standards. And so the demolition was 200,000 and some change. And then the pool itself is, I think, 2.5. They are also forward thinking this. And from an economic development standpoint, they are having lane lines painted in it. So so the pool can host swim meets, which will increase that, the economic impact to our community. And one more forward thinking thought that they are doing is they are actually having the concrete set. So they can, if in the future they want to put a cover over the pool, they can, and they won't have to do any major demolition. They'll be able to go in and grab those footings and put up the structure and cover the pool. So I thought it was worthwhile to talk about in this meeting. we've heard a long time, a pool is definitely needed for our community, but the economic impact side of it could be tremendous. So. That's
Very
what I
good.
have.
Well, man, you didn't do a dang thing last time.
Nothing. We've just been.
Island.
We're gonna need a vacation.
Yeah, and yeah, as you notice, we're all gonna be going in a, a
Yeah.
cryptic.
Yeah, we're taking turns. Tracy's gone now. I'm gone next week. I don't know when Shane gets a
I'm
vacation.
gonna take some days off at the end of the week after next, so.
So the committee, or the port let it, but you had a committee,
Correct.
Mhm.
about 15 people, right?
Mhm.
Is there a avenue to give a special thanks to those people working on that committee
Yes, we have some.
on behalf of the port?
Mhm.
Because yes, the port's name is on it or lead it, but without their help, it doesn't, it's not as well as it, turns out. So any issues with that, Commissioner Brian?
No, it's a great idea. Thank you for thinking of it.
So whether it's a card or if we can do, I don't know, something, gift ticket, whatever you've historically been able to do with that, that would be nice to be able to do for them. And I know we're missing people, but we can't probably count everybody, but, especially the committee itself, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, we did. We always send thank you cards, but I don't know. We'll talk about if there's any other ideas.
So appreciate that. Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions on, staff reports?
None from me. Thank you for the reports.
Okay, housing,
Nothing.
Nothing
no,
on housing?
no.
Well,
Oh.
I did work with the new owner of the Knobloch Apartments
okay,
to try to connect him to some Department of Commerce money. There's $212 million out there for renovation of multifamily housing. So I just need to rally back with him, but we are trying to help him because those apartments are not in the best of shape.
Yeah, he has a new owner too, and he's trying to get it cleaned up.
well, that might. That'd be a good thing there. See, how about the task force?
So we met, I also attended the meeting at the Scotsman and was very well attended, and I think a lot of good ideas came out. And hopefully those are being put together so that we can get a list of the community's ideas for what they envision Dayton, Columbia County to be in the future. So, and I thought it was really well ran, and
And people signed up for committees, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, when you put your little mark on there, you were supposed to sign up if you're interested enough to carry it on, then. So hopefully people signed up to be the front runners of each idea instead of just letting it languish out there. So I thought that was good. I attended the Fall Family Festival and the sesquicentennial.
Centennial.
And I thought they were very well attended, great events, and really highlighting our community. And thank you for all your hard work. That was,
Thank you.
and the committees and all the people that volunteered. And yes, even my granddaughter was sweaty and slimy after running through the obstacle course, so it was good. There's still work being done on the Lewis and Clark campground and the signage to make it more prominent that it's up there. Let's see, there's some work being done on the downtown. Belinda reported that there's work being done on the sound system for downtown during our events. Sometimes it's kind of hard to hear or listen to. Proofs have been, a deposit was paid for proofs on our regional signage that's around town.
And it's fixed now. The
Oh, yeah.
kiosk in front of that office is finally.
Okay.
Finally fixed. Done.
Flower baskets are down. Caboose Park, there's a volunteer group trying to help maintain that, but really the city's the one that
Mhm.
does the
Yeah.
maintenance on
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Working, there's still a group working on the West End plan. facade grant this year was just unbelievable, and I want to do a shout out to Ken. He's the one that went out and worked with each property owner to get them to apply and then to get their contracting done. We spent a lot of money, but we had the money to spend.
Yeah, and I forgot to tell you, there's the scaffolding up on the Fourth Street building, the Fourth and
Yeah.
Main.
So,
Yeah, so that one's starting
They're
finally,
working.
yeah.
really, that was it. Business as usual, other than the highlights. So that's it.
Awesome, good stuff going around by many. All right, let's see. Commissioner Bryant, do you have anything to add or questions on any of the things here today?
No, I don't. I just want to say thank you for taking the helm and steering the ship for the evening. And yeah, that's all I have. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right, well, takes us to our final public comment, 1 minute per person. Open it up to the room. Yeah, go ahead. And make sure you state your name and where you're from.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Phil Newman, Mainstem Malt. Just coming this evening to share a few thoughts at this a particularly important juncture for this project. First thought is that I'm incredibly thankful for the board's support through, I've been working with Jenny now for over 2.5 years on this thing. And we both invested in quite a bit of resource into this project, and I mean, fortunately, we have a lot to show for it at this point. And so, like, we're looking at really beautiful designs, very thoroughly considered designs for how to do a malt house here. Yeah, 2 rounds of independent cost estimation included in those, and so I have a much sharper sense of what this thing's going to cost in total for all parties. We've worked with Jenny to go after some additional grant funding for this, so some exciting news. Hopefully, that we get that roughly $500,000 to support green cluster programming. Long story short, there's a lot of positive stuff wrapped into all the work that we've been doing. I know neither of us expected to be at this point in the process and this far along on a project management level, and still without a lease that's acceptable to both parties. Yeah, I just I don't know what to say other than that Mainstem's council has advised me to not move forward with the lease as is. However, it is it is my top priority right now to figure out how to get to a lease that works for both parties and allows us to proceed. And so I just wanted folks to know that, yeah, I'm still invested in this, Mainstem's still invested in this, and yeah, we want to make this work and get a lease in place as soon as possible.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you,
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
all your hard work.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it.
Anybody else in the room? Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Chuck Ketterman. Couple things. One, follow up on Mr. Mead's suggestion. Wouldn't it be reasonable for the board to actually take an official action to put this sale of the railroad on official hold? Maybe even have a trigger, whatever might bring it back up, but an official action seems to be reasonable.
It's
Limiting
my under-
concern.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is my minute. Secondly, I've heard several in the past meetings, several mentions of how great this gentleman is who is doing the leasing of the railroad. And it seems like to me that he should be a very happy client, because you're leasing a $13 million plus facility for $4,000 a year. Plus, you're giving him all the revenue from the leasing of the crossings and rental and that sort of thing, which totally offsets that 2.5 times. So he's virtually getting the use of the facility for nothing. You don't know whether or not he's making money or not, but so it might be worth, if you have access to consultant, try to figure out just what the revenue is here. It may turn out to be much more significant than what you might think and what he might be implying. I guess that's it.
All right, well, thank you. And I don't think there was any official selling of the railroad. There was no motion to sell the railroad. It's been all of a discussion the whole time to investigate whether or not it would be a viable option. So that's probably why there wasn't a motion to not sell it, because there was never an original one to begin with. Anything else to add on that, Commissioner?
Just that there is no motion needed for an inaction. We don't need to make a motion to not do something.
Yeah.
So that's just the way that my understanding of the system works. There's no motion, second, or approval process for an inaction. So for not doing anything, we don't need a motion to not do something. So that's my understanding of it.
That's where we're at.
Comment of that would be, I listened to an awful hard sale from that gentleman on the screen up there. So it seemed like to me there was certainly some action, but.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom? All right, I will call this meeting to order. Oh, I can't even see that clock. Is it showing? It's 6:02.
He means adjourn, yes.
Adjourn, sorry. The other thing on that is the next meeting will be November 12th, and it will include a public hearing on the budget, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jenny, I'll come in later this week to sign papers.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Seth, be careful of Friday afternoon, because we may not be here.
Understand. If I miss you, I'll come in on Monday.
We really hope we're not here.
Shoot me an email first.
Yes, we'll do it.
Apparently you need to be careful just because.
Yeah, I need to wear a bubble.
Yeah, this,
At least bubble.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
we're excited, yeah.
Thanks, Johnny.
Oh, thank you.
Clear because of the oil.
Pardon me?
That's quiet.
Well, yeah,
Very